Kyle Larson holding off the entire playoff field, winning the 2023 Southern 500, but it was a night that saw big drama. Let's break it all down today on Shifting Gears. I'm Alan Bailey, and before round 2 kicks off at Kansas next weekend, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you come on back for the next video and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Wow. Big drama. Every time we go to Darlington, it never disappoints. And honestly, we got a barn burner out there today. I'm honestly blown away. We are live over on kick.com/HeyAlanBailey. So if you want to watch this live, head over to kick.com and give us a follow over on Kick. Yes, the chat is open. Yes, we will be taking your comments, your concerns, everything that's happening. I've kind of got an eye on Kyle Larson on the front stretch doing the interview with NBC. Honestly, he owned this one. Honestly, this was Denny Hamlin's race, and Hamlin got in his own head. Denny Hamlin showing his mental weakness, for lack of a better term, starting to show through a little bit, and he definitely psyched himself out, thought that he had a loose wheel when he did not. He had the dominant car. He had the winning car, and there was no doubt about it. He was more than likely going to go to victory lane today, and he just didn't. He fumbled, and that cost them the victory, plain and simple. We're going to break down all the drama. I do want to get you a finishing order per NASCAR. This is very unofficial. So Kyle Larson gets the victory. Tyler Reddick coming home second. He was getting into the wall. He was trying to hold off everybody, and he came home second, about 4/10 behind Larson, our leader. Chris Buescher, 17, showing that he is a serious Final Four threat, coming home third. William Byron having a breakout year. Buescher and Byron both are having breakout years, with Byron coming home fourth, Chastain coming home fifth, with Keselowski pitting late and coming back for a sixth-place finish. He did have a little bit fresher tires. Bubba Wallace, I think tonight he definitely proved that he is the guy that you have to keep an eye on in this postseason, because he had issue after issue on the racetrack and they battled back. That, my friends, is a championship team. That, my friends, is a championship contending driver. No, they don't have a victory this season, but they came home for a 7th place finish. That's impressive. Another guy who is technically in the postseason as in the owner points, I should say, is the number 9 of Chase Elliott. He comes home 8th out at Darlington unofficially. Ryan Blaney coming home 9th. You had Eric Jones, who is a 2-time Southern 500 winner. Looked like he could have made it 3 tonight, but just didn't have the car for him about the 2/3 of the way mark on in the race. Comes home 10th. Kyle Busch, who started in the back, comes home 11th. Impressive run for him, honestly. Joey Logano, 12th, with AJ Allmendinger 13th. You have Eric Almirola coming home 14th, with Chase Briscoe 15th, 16th to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 17th to the extremely impressive Carson Hocevar in the number 42 for Legacy. Honestly, Carson, I think, belongs in the Cup Series next year. He showed today, he showed in qualifying, I should say, that he definitely has he has the speed. He can handle these race cars. And the fact that he's in the 42 over at Legacy, who, let's just say, have not had the best cars all season, and brought it home in a top 20, in his second ever start, that's pretty darn impressive right there. Martin Truex Jr. Coming home 18th, 19th to Harvick, who honestly probably gave up his final victory, which is extremely disappointing. We'll get into that in the show here in a little bit. 20th to Austin Dillon, 21st to Ty Gibbs, 22nd to Corey LaJoie, 23rd to Chris Bell. First car 1 lap down. He was caught up in a late race incident. We will talk about Joe Gibbs Racing essentially dropping the ball out at Darlington. Justin Haley 24th, with Denny Hamlin a lap down in 25th. Never got that lap back. Caution after caution after caution. He never found himself in the positions that he needed to get that free pass. Todd Gilliland 26th. 27th to Ryan Newman, 2 laps down. We will talk about Newman. Newman causing drama. Newman's always a good time, man. I love Ryan Newman racing in the Cup Series. He's such a he causes the drama. He stirs the pot. He's a little bit of Team Chaos personified, I think. Ryan Preece, 28th, 3 laps down after his big black eyes, after his issue on the racetrack at Daytona, his massive flip that we saw last weekend. We see Ty Dillon 29th, 30th to J.J. Yaley, 31st to Austin Cindric, 32nd to Michael McDowell, who was caught up in an issue, 38 laps down for the 34 car. Alex Bowman, 45 laps down in 33rd. Daniel Suarez, 34th. 47 laps down. Harrison Burton, 35th, 49 laps down. And you have BJ McLeod, who had an engine issue, 157 laps down in 36th. So lots to talk about. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Go ahead, drop it in the chat. What did you guys think about today's race? Before we get into the actual race recap, I do want to tell you about Wraith. You can log on to drinkwraith.com and you can use promo code Allen10 right there at checkout, and that's 10% off of your entire online order, whether that's the starter bundles, the tubs, the merch. It is 200 milligrams of caffeine with amino acids, antioxidants, zero sugar, which is my personal favorite, plus it's only 6 calories. It tastes great, it gets your brain thinking, and it's not going to get you the jitters and get you all hyped up with a bad crash. Log on to drinkwraith.com, use promo code Allen10 at checkout for 10% off your entire online order. Join the cult, drink Wraith. It was like one thing after another, and Darlington is known for that because it is such a driver's racetrack, and it is such a track that you gotta be on that razor's edge all the time. I was fortunate enough to race in the NASCAR iRacing series on Saturday morning, and our Team Inspire Motorsports Chevy came home 5th. So I got a little bit of a taste of all of it, and we had a great time. If you haven't already, mash that follow button over on kick.com/HeyAllenBailey. We're grinding to 75. It really helps us out when you guys go give us a follow over there. It's 100% free to join. I love it. Honestly, I'm having a great time over there, and our Team Inspire Motorsports Chevy, we're going to be running for hopefully some pretty cool stuff next season and the remainder of this season. But let's get into the race breakdown, brought to you by ARN, the American Racing Network. Log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. So Kyle Busch kind of got his weekend off to a bad start, got his playoffs to a bad start when he broke a toe link in practice. You can't do that. But at Darlington, it is so darn easy to do this. It put them in the back. They had to fix that, obviously, and it put them behind the 8 ball. That's a tough day. That's a tough start to your 500-mile race. Green flag. So we saw the green flag fly. Green flag pit stop started around lap 32. Around lap 50, Ross Chastain, playoff contender, was fighting to stay on the lead lap. That was a big one, and he managed to do it at the moment. Fast forward to lap number 67. Hamlin takes the lead from Tyler Reddick. Big moment as Hamlin is starting to show his dominance. He's a little bit more of a long-run car, but he still has that short-run speed. Reddick fading just a little bit right there, with Bubba Wallace sliding in the pits on a green flag pit stop. Lost a little bit of ground right there. Michael McDowell lost a lap on lap 84 to Tyler Reddick, our leader. Then Denny Hamlin back to the lead on lap number 92, showing that Hamlin definitely has that long run speed. Lap 114, Christopher Bell running 8th, hits the turn 4 wall, and he starts to fade a little bit, and there starts to be inklings of something's up with that car. We found out later that there was something wrong with that car from that contact. Lap 117, end of stage number 1. Wallace, or I should say Denny Hamlin wins stage number 1. Wallace spins off of turn number 4, battling with Joey Logano for the 11th place position, but he keeps it off the wall, gets it back going, and that's just one of the hurdles that Bubba Wallace had to overcome in this race. Lap number 130, Chris Bell, restarting on lap 13, falls to 23rd very quick. They think it's a broke toe link, and it does seem like it's a bent or broken toe link that caused him issues. He was able to stay out there, but it was still issue after issue for Christopher Bell. Unfortunately, Joe Gibbs Racing starting to show the cracks in their program under pressure. Martin Truex Jr., speaking of Gibbs, on lap 153, pits twice with a loose left rear tire. MTJ having issues. You had the grandson over there at Gibbs getting the best pit crew. They gave it to the 20 team, and I don't want to say it was wasted, but I honestly, the issues on the racetrack meant that the best pit crew literally in the Cup Series garage went to a team that had mechanical issues due to Bell getting into the wall. Something's off with Bell, honestly. He's one of the better drivers in the Cup Series when it comes to slipping and sliding. He should have been able to rip that outside wall, and for some reason, he's just looked off this season, really, truly, which is baffling at this point to me. Lap number 180, caution for the lights not coming on in turns 3 and 4 at Darlington. I tweeted about this. This was a big what the hell kind of moment for NASCAR. And there's been this discussion, there's been this fight in the NASCAR community, and this belief with NASCAR fans and people within the NASCAR industry that NASCAR needs to split up the pie, the TV money that they get from Fox, from NBC, for these TV rights better amongst the teams, amongst the racetracks, because right now NASCAR is getting a majority of that, and they're claiming it's to maintain their racetracks, but they clearly aren't maintaining their racetracks very nicely. They just got a large payout for the sale of the land at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, and you got to wonder, where's that money going? Is it 100% going to the conversion of Auto Club Speedway from a 2-mile racetrack to the reported half-mile configuration that we will see supposedly in 2025, 2026, sometime around there? I hope, because there's a lot of things that need to happen at some of these racetracks. Fan amenities need to happen. Things like maintaining the infrastructure, the toilets, the electricity, etc., needs to happen at these racetracks. There are some racetracks that have a NASCAR Cup Series date in 2023 that are not maintained properly, that do not have the modern fan amenities that you want and that fans expect and need. NASCAR needs to definitely up that a lot. And just divide the money a little bit better, in my opinion. The fact that you had a power issue, a very clear power issue at Darlington when lights wouldn't come on, is an issue. Drivers were somewhat okay with it. They're used to racing at short tracks with low lighting, and they were fine with it. Some of them were, but NASCAR was not. And honestly, the fact that this is a crown jewel race, the Southern 500, one of the biggest races of the NASCAR season, and the fact that it is the opening round of your playoffs and the lights don't come on when you turn them on is just a really bad look for NASCAR. And honestly, it should never have happened. The fact that it did is embarrassing, and NASCAR should be embarrassed and ashamed of this. NASCAR needs to be better. They need to maintain these racetracks so that when you turn on lights, they actually turn on. Crazy concept, I know, but they did bring out a local power company in order to fix the issue. No word on what the issue was, but they did get it fixed. We did have to go under a red flag. Here's the thing that honestly aggravates me as a fan. The caution came out on lap 180 for this issue. At 189, 9 laps under caution, we finally saw the red flag fly. Why did it take that long? As soon as we went under caution, you should have let pit stop cycle through and then honestly brought them down pit road or at the start-finish line, better yet, and stopped them there and just called it there. It should have been 5 laps under caution at the most, not 9. That was just ridiculous. And I know NASCAR was hoping it was going to be a quick fix, but it's super easy to turn these cars off and turn them back on and to put that red flag out and to put that yellow flag back out. It's not brain surgery. It was about a 7-minute red flag for the lights in turns 3 and 4. Honestly, at one point, NASCAR fans were literally in turns 3 and 4 holding up cell phone lights and big flashlights to try to help the situation. People joked in the media center and joked on social media, hey, everybody turn your car's headlights on and face the racetrack, which is just ridiculous. The fact that it is a multi-million-dollar sport that honestly at one point thought this might be the solution, we might just have them turn on the lights, is a little ridiculous. Fast forward, after the green flag flew, lap 219, I should say, BJ McLeod stops off of turn 2, engine issues, caution. Stenhouse got the free pass on that one, with Logano, Bowman, MTJ, Harrison Burton, Chris Bell, Todd Gilliland, I should say, and Michael McDowell all getting the wave around. It was something like 11 cars that took the wave around on this caution. Lap 257, Larson hits the wall, falls from 2nd to 5th. Larson had been getting into the wall, riding on that high line, just right up against the fence, ripping the fence. And finally he got into it, and it just created a little bit of a parachute for him. There was clear damage there, but I think it was more like he lost his momentum, he got out of a groove, and he started second-guessing himself and maybe even burned up the tires a little bit. Once you get into that outside wall, you're going to lose a spot or two, and Larson slipped from second to fifth. A little bit of the crack showing with Larson right there, but showing how hard Larson was pushing right there. Lap 273, Hamlin has to pit twice. This is when the green flag pit stop started happening. Hamlin pits twice, claiming it was a loose wheel. The team came on the radio and said there was no evidence of a loose wheel. Denny Hamlin has always throughout his entire career had issues with mental fortitude. And when, frankly, Jimmy Johnson whooped his ass at Homestead for the championship one year, Hamlin was really never the same. He went and saw sports psychologists and really had to work on his mental game. And because of that, he honestly took a good 5 years to get back into title contention. And then at that point, just never got the title. Got some Daytona 500s, which is great. So does Michael McDowell and Ricky Stenhouse. That's cool that Denny gets so many Daytona 500s. But Denny Hamlin's starting to show his mental weakness, for lack of a better term. Am I saying he's not going to win the championship this year because he's mentally weak? No. But I will say that there are other drivers who are mentally stronger than he is, and that's very evident now. He's making a very, very big mistake, you know, when it comes to the loose wheel or not. I tend to believe the race team because they have the physical evidence. Denny Hamlin is going off of what he's feeling in the race car. I believe that there might have been something off with the tires. Something felt a little funny, but there was no loose wheel. There was no evidence of a loose wheel. There might have been a mechanical issue, but there was never an issue after this. Hamlin on the radio after he was told that there was no loose wheel, simply said, yes, there was, basically. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. But Denny Hamlin, you know, not with no loose wheel, no issue, cost himself this victory. He easily would have cruised to a victory, or at least been in contention for a victory at the very least, and didn't get it done, period. Lost the race, gave up the victory, gave up a Southern 500 simply because he made a massive mistake, which is just very unfortunate for Denny Hamlin fans at this point, honestly. But Hamlin falls to 30th, one lap down, never got that lap back, period. Lap 303, Rennick gets into Newman. Tyler Rennick is our leader at this point. Ryan Newman in the number 51, a lap down, battling to stay on the lead lap. Honestly, starts door slamming our leader with Newman on the outside. I absolutely love it. Ryan Newman, man, he's hands down one of the toughest drivers to pass on the racetrack. He's going to make your life a living hell, and should Newman have been as aggressive with the leader as he was? There are some that say he's a lap down. He should give up his, position and give up that spot to the leader, who's clearly faster. I say probably not, because Newman's fighting to stay on the lead lap himself. He's fighting for his sponsors. He's fighting for Rick Ware. He's fighting for his team. Why the hell should he give up that position? Why the hell should he roll over for the leader? If it's a clear difference, then yeah, Newman should have given up. But honestly, Newman stuck with him and battled right there with him, and that was pretty darn impressive. But it set up for very interesting drama just a few laps later, because we saw a caution just about 10 laps later on lap 312 with Newman spinning off of turn 4. Now, Harvick was closing on the leader. Harvick was driving up through the field, and everybody thought, holy crap, Kevin Harvick could win the Southern 500, his potentially final Cup Series victory. Harvick in his final season. Harvick could advance to the next round. This could be massive. And people were speculating he could make it onto the Final Four. This is big for Harvick. And sure enough, Harvick, who was committed to pit road before the spin from Newman, does not make it onto pit road, does not make the commitment cone before the caution comes out, before the red lights come out. He misses it by maybe 3 inches, if that. It just hairline miss right there by Harvick, which is just such a shame. It traps Harvick at the tail end of the longest line and ultimately ended Harvick's race and potential for a victory, which just sucks. I think we all want to see Harvick pull a Jeff Gordon and win somewhere in the postseason, somewhere in these final 10 races. We'd love to see him win in the round of 8 and lock himself into the round of the final 4 for Phoenix, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. Honestly, this was Harvick's shot for a victory, and I think that this means Kevin Harvick will never win another Cup race. I would love to be wrong. I would sign up in a heartbeat to be wrong with that fact, but I pretty much think, and I'm going to say, Harvick is done winning Cup races. And since Harvick doesn't seem to want to run Xfinity or truck, I think Kevin Harvick will never win another NASCAR race. I think I can honestly safely say that here on September 3rd, 2023. Now, maybe I just unreversed Darian jinxed it, maybe. Which, by the way, Darian, at Black Flags Matter, what the hell? Someone take that man's cell phone. I'm looking at you, NASCAR Weekly podcast people. You guys need to take his phone away, seriously, because I 100% blame him. If you're unfamiliar with it, at Black Flags Matter, Darian Gilliam, he is a really great NASCAR content creator. Really cool guy. Haven't had the chance to meet him in person yet, but we've talked online a handful of times. And he has this habit of jinxing people on the racetrack. He will say something like he said today with his tweet, Harvick looking really good. Harvick could make the final 4. And then sure enough, not even 2 minutes later, that caution comes out. Harvick doesn't make it onto pit road and loses the race, or essentially loses a shot at a victory. I'm 100% blaming Darian on this. Darian, what the hell? Stop. Just stop. Stop. I'm begging you. We all wanted to see Harvick win it, and you had to take it away from us, Darian. What the hell? Michael, go get him. Go get him, Michael. Get him! I'm honestly I'm sad. I'm not a hardcore Harvick fan, but yeah, I wanted to see the guy win another victory before the end of the season. Yes, I wanted to see him make the postseason, which he did, but I'd love to see him go deep into the playoffs, and we don't get that now because Darian can't stay off of Twitter, X, whatever. For some reason, I feel like blaming Elon Musk, so Darian, I take it all back. It's not Darian's fault. It's Elon Musk's fault, because frankly, we could just blame the rich guy on everything. Why not? But that caution sets up an interesting set of circumstances, because lap 319 after the restart, you have Alex Bowman blocking at the start-finish line on the front stretch. Suarez, he dives down the racetrack, and Suarez is there. He has the run. This is a battle for 8th, and they crash in turn 1. In the process, they collect Burton, but they also collect a bunch of other stuff. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up my cautions. Hang on. Bowman blocks Suarez for 8th. They crash in turn 1. They collect Burton. We see a caution on lap 319, but MTJ gets the free pass. Big moment for Gibbs right there. But then after the restart on lap 330, Todd Gilliland spins off a 4. In that process, McDowell, Bell, Hamlin, all collected. It effectively ends Michael McDowell's day. He goes to the garage area. Now, what happened is Kyle Busch got a run off of turn 4. He makes it 3 wide on the bottom with Gilliland in the middle and his RCR teammate on the outside. I don't think Kyle knew he was 3 wide. Or he just didn't care, or both, I don't know, and essentially gets up into Gilliland, which, because Dillon was on the outside, sends Gilliland into the outside wall, and honestly, you had Bell, McDowell, Hamlin, all victims of Kyle Busch right here, in a sense. I don't think he meant to do it on purpose, but, you know, Gilliland was in a 3 wide RCR sandwich, and no one comes out on top in that situation. Hamlin didn't have much damage, but it effectively, I think, kept him from being that car 1 lap down, or for getting the lucky dog, I should say. And that ultimately sealed his fate right there. 34 laps to go. Brad Keselowski pits from P5 under caution as McDowell goes to the garage. And then we get this really, really, really good battle, frankly, between Larson and Rennick, and they were within 3/10, 2/10 of each other, 4/10 of each other for the last probably 20-ish laps, give or take. And it was a decent battle. You know, one would gain 1 lap, one would gain on another lap. It was a really good give and take. But you had Larson, Rennick, Buescher, and Byron all right there, all pulling away from the 5th place car, and they showed that they had the speed when it counted. And honestly, for a moment, I thought, this might be the Final Four, and it could very well be, with Larson, Rennick, Chris Buescher, William Byron, all potentially being Final Four candidates. I do think that Larson has a really good shot, especially now, of making the Final Four. With Buescher, I think he's in my Final Four, I think. And William Byron, who's also having a career year, who's right there. Byron with 5 wins, Buescher with 3 wins. Larson picks up another victory this season, with Rennick still having his 1 victory at COTA this season. But Tyler Rennick showed up. 23-11 definitely showed up, especially with, we see Chastain somehow finished 5th. No idea how the man managed that, because he was running, you know, at one point not looking like he was going to lose a lap at one point, somehow comes back for a top 5. Brad Keselowski drives up to the 6th position, very fitting for him, with Chase Elliott honestly showing some speed. Not a lot of speed, but some speed. A little glimmer of hope there for Chase Elliott fans. And Blaney and Jones also finishing up there too. That was pretty darn cool as well. So honestly, it was a great race. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of the 2023 Southern 500? Kyle Larson is our winner. Want to take a look at the point standings real quick. Want to see if there's point standings. Right now, Kyle Larson obviously is locked into the postseason. You have William Byron, who is 2nd in points, Tyler Rennick 3rd, Chris Buescher 4th, with Denny Hamlin falling to 5th right now, Martin Truex Jr. 6th in the point standings, with Kyle Busch 7th, also tied for 7th. Or excuse me, 8th in the point standings is Brad Keselowski. Blaney is 9th, with Chastain 10th, 11th to Joey Logano, and Christopher Bell is currently at the cutoff point with 2 races to go in the round of 16. Now, Harvick is a couple points out in 13th. Bubba Wallace is literally, oh my gosh, right there. And when I say right there, I mean right there, 14th in points, with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell 15th and 16th. Honestly, I said Stenhouse and McDowell are out round 1. I still believe that. I don't see them having the speed. I really don't, especially Stenhouse. Stenhouse, hands down, easily is out round 1. McDowell definitely dug himself a hole here. He's definitely going to have to find some speed, and that is something that they're going to, I think, struggle with. But these points will be finalized probably tomorrow morning. You can log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the full points update and the latest on everything that we saw out at Darlington this weekend. And you can make sure that you mash that subscribe button on YouTube, and make sure that you go give us a follow on Kick, where we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and mostly Saturday mornings as well, or Saturday around 12 noon. You will see a full schedule going out in this video. This is what this week's schedule looks like if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching live on Kick, I'm going to post it on Kick as well. So want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't mashed that follow button, for Shifting Gears and the American Racing Network, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track. Good night, Gearheads.